To read Osama bin Laden's letter and to understand the perspective of America's enemies so we can better understand history is no more praising Osama bin Laden than it is when people try and understand the German perspective to understand what led to World War II, the election of Adolf Hitler, Nazism, and the Holocaust. It's what adults do. We look at everything that's relevant to try and place things in historical context and have a complete understanding of them. Do you see how they treat you like children? They don't want you reading a historical letter. They don't want you seeing what the other side has to say. Remember, the US government after 9/11 told the networks to ban all interviews with Osama bin Laden. They didn't want Americans hearing from him then either, because they wanted to keep Americans in ignorance so they could say, the only reason these people attacked us is because you're so free, and they hate you for it. They didn't want Osama bin Laden being heard by Americans saying, you've been nonstop engaging in violence and interfering in our country and our politics and our government and our culture and our religion for decades. Because they knew if people heard from him, well, what happened is what just happened on TikTok, which is a bunch of young Americans were going to be like, wait a minute, I didn't realize this. I didn't know this is why they were angry, because we've been going around bombing them and occupying them and invading them and overthrowing their governments and imposing dictatorships on them for years. If you even remotely believe in free speech, you should be indignant at the attempt to keep Americans from knowing this. That is what tyrannical governments do. They block out information they don't want their citizens to have. And they're using big tech to control the internet to do it. That's what this banning of Osama bin Laden's letter is about. It's why The Guardian removed the letter from its website.
The letter to America with bin Laden. There's nothing that the ruling class want more than a dumb, ignorant working class. They want a dumb, ignorant working class that focus on nothing but the culture war. That is their intention. When they see people fight over gender issues and all this nonsense, it makes them more than happy. They want nothing more than to have a dumb left that don't ask questions about the Ukraine war, for example. Don't ask questions about why NATO needs to expand, never ending, and why Russia should be okay with that. You notice how the dumb left, you're not supposed to answer questions. At RBN, we stress building revolutionary discipline, reading theory, learning from history. You have commentators that openly say, I never read Marx, I never read Lenin, I never read history. They don't play Fred, and we did a whole segment about Kwame Ture yesterday. They revel in their ignorance, and they spread that ignorance to the working class and to the left, which leads to a dumb left that we have right now. We had the left that is so dumb, they believe that Joe Biden was the lesser of two evils. People like Zach from the Vanguard. You got Crystal and Kyle that made that argument passionately. David Pacman, who made the argument passionately. These people are way more educated than I am. These people got more trust from the system, more illusion of professionalism than I do. So they come on camera and they tell you a bunch of dumb shit, and they lead workers off a cliff. They tell you and they preach political nihilism, revolutionary nihilism, I should say. Where David Pacman and Crystal made this argument very clear that if you advocate for third parties, for example, you're a child and you need to grow up. Like, oh man, Tom Hartman's like, man, we're stuck in our system that we have now. There's nothing we can do. We might well defeat the Republicans. Pushing lesser to evilism, that dumb, ridiculous logic. And they implant revolutionary defeatism on the workers by saying we have no choice but support Democrats. We got to accept crumbs and we got to accept lesser of two evils. Meanwhile, what do we preach at RBN? We preach revolutionary optimism. What other channels are doing this? Sabi is killing the game, getting thousands of live viewers every stream now. What other streamer, and I'm asking you guys this right now, what other streamer gets thousands of live viewers and also does mutual aid events on the regular? What other channel with over 40,000 subscribers are in the streets? We have a toy drive that we have planned for Christmas. I just gave school supplies, hundreds of dollars of school supplies away a few weeks ago. What other commentators doing this kind of stuff? Other commentators are sheep herding you guys into electoralism and incrementalism. We talk about stuff that make you angry, so you realize how ridiculous it is to go about life based on the strategy laid out by liberals. So this here is what RBN preached. Who else was talking about mutual aid? And still, there's not a lot of people. But who else was talking about mutual aid before RBN hit the scene? You people talking about giving $5 to a politician? No, give it to your neighbor. Raise money for clothes and food. Why are we wasting hundreds of millions of dollars on the Bernie Sanders campaign? Hundreds of millions of dollars. And people like the Vanguard, Crystal and Cal, many of the boutique left, they want to do it again. People who support Marianne Williamson, they want to do it again. They want to divide the resources up. Yeah, we know it's hard to build a revolutionary movement. Yeah, we know it's hard to build a third party, but let's divide the resources. Can someone explain to me how that makes sense? We are the only people that hit YouTube that will actually explain our revolutionary theory of change, as I did on the George Galloway show. Not the lesser two evils, not even third parties, because third parties don't go far enough. Third parties is just a vehicle. It's an instrument that could be used to advance social change. So if you're a socialist and you're a communist, if you're a worker, you should not be a part of the capitalist system in any way, shape, or form, meaning joining their party. So if you're going to be political, we need to form socialist Marxist parties as we build our mutual aid communities. Give people an option, because that's what socialism is about. It's about giving people options. So we engage in mutual aid. You run your own parties. You build your own organization based on the tenets of the working class, the needs of the working class. The end goal of this, and I'm going to show you guys this video, this wholesome ass video with Sabby and Roman together. The goal of mutual aid and why it aids a revolution is because we are trying to separate ourselves from our reliance of the capitalist mode of production. The best way to resist our ruling class is not joining it, is by forming our own governments. Governments is a construct. It's legitimized and it's given power by capital. But what happens if a group of like-minded people within a government rebel against the culture of the government and we form our own? So not only are we completely rejecting their mode of production, not only are we rejecting their political system by voting outside of it, we are completely outside. We are completely independent. We have our own governments that we are functioning and we are building. And guess what happens? When people vote every 2 years, they have their own government they're about to vote for. It's called the Socialist Party. It's called the RBN Party, whatever it's called. This is the root in which social change and revolution is built. You see the result of when we rely on the professional managerial class, whose capital and their comfort is reliant on their position in society. And we just covered this with Nico House last week. There are a lot of people in the professional managerial class, in the CEO management class, that want to support Palestine, who are disgusted by Israel. But what happens if you're in a suit job with a company that works with an Israel company, who has a CEO who's a Zionist, right? It's easy to say, let's make this sacrifice and throw away years of work. You got a master's degree, you did whatever you did, got promotions, you sold your soul already. Now, we want them to, right? But we are scientific in our Marxism and our approach to revolution. We understand that people in the professional managerial class, especially when you got kids to feed, who's going to put anyone over their family, society over their family. So if you have family to feed, you increase their quality of life. You grew up poor, you got kids you taking care of, right? You increase their class. It's not really smart of us to rely on these people to throw away their privilege in order to help our revolution be successful. So there are people who want to support Palestine, but they can't lose their jobs. I mean, and I'm such a softie, but I'm not even willing to call them a coward. It's a very human decision. Like, and they do whatever they can. They may throw a few bucks here, but they're very muted about it because they don't want to be found out. Man, I've been an accountant at this job for 10, 15 years. I'm about to get a retirement package. I want to do my best to support Palestine, but do I throw it all away? Do I sacrifice my kids' well-being? As Marxists and as revolutionaries, we can't ask that of people. We can't really expect that of people. We want that, but we can't expect that. So we got to build our own government. We got to understand that there are limits to what the professional managerial class left, and the people who are successful within the system can aid us. That's why people who are very open class traders, I welcome with open arms. I welcome with absolute open arms, because class traders are making a bit of a sacrifice. There are investments they can't get into. If you're Susan Sarandon, if you're a base actress or someone in Hollywood that's standing against the war machine, you're going to get blacklisted. There's a Hollywood blacklist going on right now, blacklisting actors who don't support the genocide of the Palestinian people. So it's through this understanding that we don't build our movements on the whims of a Ryan Graham, who is tied to the Squad, and Bernie Sanders, on the whims of a Bernie Sanders who's tied to the Senate. The idea that we tie our revolution to a senator in hindsight is absurd, correct? It's absurd. Because now we've seen the limits of his power. We got to see what he cannot cross and what he cannot do. And then once the movement ends, you guys got to start from scratch. We lifted this person who was part of the professional managerial class above and elevated him as leader. And then once he failed us and he showed his class loyalties, he won't even call for a ceasefire in this moment, for example. Now people are deflated. And that's when the political nihilism of the professional managerial class and what they take advantage of take roots. That where breaking points come and say, oh man, it's a shame that Bernie Sanders is getting a win, but third party is not possible. And your heart is so broken because of what just happened with Bernie. You buy into that. But anyway, I'm gonna show you guys what Savvy and Rome did, and we get to our story of Elon Musk declaring war on free speech. Another thing that RBN got right. Someone make a checklist. And something else that we called militantly on our channel from the second that Elon Musk took over Twitter, X, whatever the fuck, right? I told you guys, if you believe that a capitalist who have contracts with the empire will stand for the free speech of anti-imperialists and colonized people, you lost your damn mind. And you had a bunch of sweet summer children like, come on, man. Come on, Nick. Why you guys so mean at RBN? Don't you know he the next Tony Stark? Don't you know he's owning the libs? He truly mean it. It's not a marketing ploy. It's not a marketing ploy to get people invested into a business they just bought. And it was not a marketing ploy of Elon Musk taking advantage of the current cultural shifts and the right and trying to increase his own profits and value, which was obvious to me because I understand how capitalism works. But I'm gonna show you guys this guy. I just want to go over that rant over like just the basics of what we are trying to accomplish with RBN, what we should be striving for as a left. This mutual aid here. I'll play this video. I'll shut up. Like,
hey, look who's here! Look who's here! All right, guys, let me show you what we got so far. So this is part of the tent clinic. See, we brought gloves, alcohol prep pads, Benadryl. Can't sleep on the Benadryl. Feminine hygiene products here, ointments, cotton balls for all that jazz. We come into the tent. There's a lot of stuff. We still have to unbox some things, but shampoo. Shout out to Sergio for sending all this, by the way. Beans, peanut butters. We have more in the box. Like there's a lot. And then Clothes start over here. As you can see, there's still clothes underneath. All this jazz. A lot of winter stuff. I donated dress clothes because I don't work at BU anymore, but I figured people could wear these to interviews. And then coats. We really lucked up with coats. So I'm excited about that. Shoes, gloves here. Not sure what this is.
That's a sleeping bag.
Oh, okay. Socks. These are men's socks. Then we have winter hats over here, women's socks here. And then there's still more clothes, men's clothes over here. Awesome. So yeah, worked out pretty well.
Amazing work by Sabby. Amazing work by Rome. Amazing work from everyone at the Boston RBN chapter. We are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, I emphasize, what other channel that get thousands of live viewers like Sabby Sabs that is doing this? Everyone, like for example, Black Power Media, they said we people. He called me like a couch sitter. I'm Jared Ball and fuck the other guy named Kamal, the classist at Black Power Media. They're like, Nick, he just lives on his mama couch. He's just some guy that lives in his mama's basement. For one, you classists at Black Power Media, there's nothing wrong with that if I did. If I did live on my couch, does that delegitimize my opinion, Kamal? So doesn't that show? I told you guys, you see the classism oozing out of them. For one, I don't. Secondly, I house multiple people who otherwise would have been homeless, including my sister, including my cousin. So not only am I not a couch sitter at my mom's house, I house people who otherwise would have been homeless. But I cannot emphasize enough that if I was a couch sitter who lived in my mom's house, if I was not successful, that does not delegitimize my opinion, like Kamal and the classists at Black Power Media believe. So as the smart professional managerial class don't want to be involved with the sticky icky workers at Black Power Media, as they are sitting on their couches, as they are doing nothing, you have Sabby Sabs in Rome out there doing clothing drives for the people. I gave thousands of dollars of school supplies away to school here. We have a toy drive planned for this Christmas. We are playing something big this Christmas. So as the haters talk, we are here actually putting in the work. As our haters expose themselves as being classist, lacking intellectual discipline, as we told you guys they did, we out here doing the work. So this is unbelievably brilliant and based off of Sabby Sabs from Sabby. When I see stuff like this, I only get more inspired. Like, I'm very excited. No, it's my turn. You know what I mean? That's how we feel in the movement. You know what I mean? This is fantastic stuff. So let's get on to some topics. I'm going to cover Elon Musk declaring war on free speech, and everyone who thought that Elon Musk was a warrior and fire for free speech, their take aged as bad as the progressives who supported John Fetterman. Like, they were the dumbest people in politics. I said many times before, Elon Musk fans, they are the biggest class traders in the world. If you're a working class person, you're a working class person helping do propaganda for a billionaire who get contracts from the Pentagon. Someone who fought against unions. There's a big union push in this country. Elon Musk hates unions, fought against unions, but you got workers looking up to Elon. There is not a bigger class trader in the world than a working class person who like Elon Musk. And you see people on Twitter, there's many of them who blew up, who suck up to Elon because I want to get Elon clout. You know what I mean? I want to get Elon clout. We don't want nothing to do with them. The working class want nothing to do with this guy. It's clear that he will always side with his investors in his own class. Anyone who believes that a billionaire will ever side with us is so insane.